Top of morning, ladies. My name is Chaz, and welcome to the What If Sideswipe was in My Hero Academia. In this What If, I know Sideswipe is and yeah, or actually not Sideswipe, Soundwave. What if Soundwave was in My Hero Academia? I know he's a villain in Transformers, but hey, Soundwave thing in this What If he's a very quiet man because he only listens to him talk, but when he is by himself he starts singing to himself, but his voice was so perfect that even the surrounding areas could hear it, only 20 blocks away. And yeah, every time he stops it all the way towards the end, then the animals start to, or then whoever listens to it will fall asleep. Because how beautiful it is. And it's like a rockabye baby, and okay. But he has the same things as Jiro. He doesn't, but he usually let Jiro talk for him. And every time he talks so smooth, and everyone's like, wow. Yeah. So, and yeah, speaking of Jiro is his sister in this What If. So, yeah. So they start or let's start with them being born, and he basically has his father's hair, but he can change his hair at any time automatically, so without having to dye it, or yeah. So they start singing, as he doesn't wants to sing with them. He's kind of nervous about that because he's not ready to, as his sister, or actually his mother, could tell that he's not warmed up to, as he talks in a low tone, like a, you know how those big buff guys that have deep voice. Yeah, or actually the bass at the lowest point. Yeah. So he talks that, I'm in my low voice. So yeah. So then at age of 4, they go to Quirk Doctor, or diagnosed both of them having quirks. But oddly, after he looked at or actually, when the court doctor looked at Jiro, she has like her usual like headphones, like ear things. But when he looked at him, he has the same thing, but he has way more quirks, like infinite quirks. Yeah. And he says, how about put you down as infinity, okay? Okay, that makes sense. As he talks in his normal voice. And they're like, I actually never seen, or they actually never heard you actually want, did you want to sing with us? Huh? Huh. As he was being like an audience. And then, through the most of the day, now they're at 15, they're gonna go to UA. As, yeah, he's been in such an audience. Yeah. And his powers are actually infinity and zero. And what's inside his body, like where his heart used to be, is entire galaxy. Basically, he has the infinity powers. I'm giving him that, so don't comment the Halloween doesn't have that. Well, I'm giving it to him, to this one, so that because have you seen Soundwave using like portals? Ornals? Yeah. He just teleports. Boom. Done. As he does his usual, like, when he teleports everyone out of there without even saying a word. Sometimes his sister's like, man, we really, or man, the rest of us need to put a bell on you, how quiet you are. Ha ha, real funny. And that's a look of, haha, real funny. He doesn't talk, actually, unless he wants to. But yeah. Yeah, so then she got put in, got put in class 1A. And yeah. With the rest of them. And during the USJ, or I'm skipping the ball throw. And during the ball throw thing, I'm giving him 9, or like infinity. So yeah. And for heroes or villains, they were the last people, or like the fourth one, or very last like group of like heroes or villains. So Jiro and him sometimes really enjoys, or he enjoys her. He's more comfort around her than these new people that he met. And his eyes start to process of what would be a game plan. As he says, well, is a game plan? As maybe you just walk through the front door and end up. As the look that he's giving her says, has really? As he tells her that in sign language, he's not deaf, he's not wants to use his voice. Yes, because he doesn't want to put his own classmate in a sleep thing. So he says that you would rather tell me to go walk through the front door, and ends up facing like our opponent. Because let's say their opponent was against Into and the diabetes right over here. Yeah. So, sorry. So he says, or she's like, I'm not really good at sign language, so that's why. Let's go through the front door. As he wrote on the portal, or no, he wrote on his arm he I don't know what he did, but he told her that he better not go through the and because how about this? I'll deal with diabetes down there, and then you need to go up there. Okay? Okay? And that's what it says. Something as a portal opens up. It's his green portal. As Jiro goes through and ends up where the bomb is at. And yeah. He goes in. He looks around. As he sometimes scares everyone. As they're like, as diabetes over here, the one with the, yeah, that's what I sometimes call him. He ends up jumped 14 blocks away. Like, how did you do that? As he actually uses his voice. Do what? As that, as his body starts, as he fell asleep. As as he's like knocked out, handcuffed. Yeah. I said handcuffed. Yeah. So he ends up going, found the bomb, but he also found something also weird. A cocoon. As he could sense his own sisters inside that cocoon. Like, as she says, "Can you please help me? Anyone?" As the tape boy says, "My hate, Rennie." As he says, or as he does that same thing. But on a whole nother level. As he went through the portal, where as his eyes, as the tape boy turned around, and what he saw was scares him half to death. As he literally ran away. As he had the same face as Jiro. As, yeah, it was scary. Yeah, he starts running the other way. As he's like, As he walks over to the bomb, or he looks between Jiro and the bomb. As he then something happened. A small, like 7-inch blade came out of his fingertips. Or actually, like kind of like Momo's creation quirk, right? But when he made sure it's nice and slow, not like ding 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 ding, and ends up cutting his sister. As she's like, as he does, okay, yeah, where are those two villains went off to? Or actually, he walks over as she catches her breath. As he puts his hand on the bomb, heroes win. Automatically wins. Yeah. So, as he says, or he is such a smooth talker that even puts anyone to sleep, even me. So, yeah. So Jiro decides, okay, we really need to put a bell on you or have something. So they bought him a bell. Oh, like the ones that you put on cats things. As his voice as he uses like disable and like stops his quirk, as he talks normally without having her fall asleep on him, as he but he still could talk so smooth. He says, "Why are you getting a bell for me when I'm using my quirk?" Yeah. The Because you're so wait, how did you know how to talk? I always been how to talk. Eh? But my quirk, every time I talk with my quirk turned on, usually puts people to sleep. And so, yeah, like if I didn't like activate my quirk, or if I didn't disable my quirk, you would probably be fall right to sleep, Jiro, little sister. Huh, true. But why, as, yeah, as he says to himself, oh, that the aim, as he, yeah. So then the whole like UA or USJ started, and yeah, the one that USJ started, he has a copy other voices, so he used hearing, so he tells or he mimics Shiraki-sen's voice, as it sounds more scratchy voice. Yeah, so he tells the Nomu to stop. Um, as the Nomu stops on command, Nomu, attack all the other villains. Tear this place apart. As the Nomu does that, as the Shiraki-sen, actual Shiraki-sen, was like, Nomu, what are you doing? As or as he says, well, oh, her little Nomu is obeying you, right? But I use mimicking your voice to, that's part of one of my quirks, of mimicking voices. As yeah, as when yeah, and plus when Jiro, or let's get back, or let's go back a little minute. When they were changing, the grapefruit kid ends up trying to peek through the hole of the wall to see all those girls. Almost, almost, as he didn't allow him to even, because he knows that he doesn't want his little sister to end up getting the touched by the weirdo. Yeah. So he decides to use his, like, why are you doing this to yourself? As he says, because I want, as he gets, it's like, fell right to sleep. Alright. Now, as everyone's like, or everyone fell right to sleep, except for him. As, yeah. So, he had a same costume as his sister, but it's more blue, more, but the speakers, he created the speakers for his suit so that it's like on his shoulder pads thing. He looks more bulky than, as Jiro says, I like that little costume thing. It suits you. It's, and plus, you're always the same thing. So then, after USJ, they went home as the family says, well, I heard that about the USJ incident. Are you guys okay? As he disables his quirk before. We're fine, man. The as Jiro says that, or no, actually, he says that, as they were surprised about how he could talk in such a smooth tone. As Jiro tells them that he when his quirk activated, he can basically, when he talks like normally, people start hearing him. They fall right to sleep. So he disabled his quirk. And yeah. So then after all that stuff going on, and yeah. So yeah. Then I'm skipping the sports festival and the internship because one, it's boring, and two, it's just so hilarious. And yeah, he during the sports festival, he was in the last place, so he was disqualified from the tournament as he teleported away. But he showed up at the right time, and he saved Tenya's brother from, like, jaws of defeat. As he says, who the heck are you? I'm Soundwave. Nice to meet you. Soundwave. Alright. As Hero Killer Stain falls right to sleep, like got knocked out, kind. As he picks up Tenya's brother's body that was still alive, unharmed, and he picks up Tenya's as he says, or no, he picks up Hero Killer Stain's body too, as he says, well, my voice is quite powerful. He says it in his head. And yeah. So he goes. As he jumps, like he orbs the flames. Or he uses the flames as his jumping point. As he jumps around. Yeah. And he shows up at the hospital, drops Tenya and his brother off to make sure there was some serious damage. And he goes like all the way to police station as the bunch of news reporters are like, how did it feel to battle against Hero Killer Stain? And as he had his quirk turned off, so he says I wasn't really in the battle. All credits to Tenya's brother, the speedster guy. Okay? I just showed up at the right time, in the right place. So, yeah. So, as he teleports away after he drops off Hero Killer Stain, because as the detective tells him that you showed up at right time for Tenya's brother to save him from jaws of defeat and ended up getting killed by him. Yeah. How is he doing? He's pretty good. He's now just he's only had a couple, like only one scar, like the sliced from basically, yeah, from the sword. As he shows back up, he sits down. Tenya didn't even know that as he, like, I'm not gonna miss this for anything. As Bakugo, who was about to kill Ochako, then a green portal opens up underneath Ochako, ends up getting teleported her back, or have her, like, in the or teleport her into Recovery Girl's room as Bakugo explodes at the wall, basically. Yeah. And so he says, wonder who that would have been. As they're like, man, you're sure warming up to us. Talking slow. Plus, yeah. As Jiro's like, really? No. As she says, really, big brother? You do that stuff all the time. Saying, like, what you say. But you sure do know how to... As Jiro, who couldn't believe that he saved Ochako from last minutes, and it's as he doesn't like tell her that he saved 2 people today, so yeah. So he then the whole like, yeah, that's kind of boring. So yeah, during the camp arc, or actually during All for One versus All Might, All for One and his little League of Villains ends up taking Zuko, or no, ends up taking him to get his quirks removed. So, yeah, then... So they do, like, all that stuff. But then the heroes show up before they even do abstraction of him, of his quirk. Right? As then All Might versus All for One. All Might was down but not out. As All for One is about to kill All Might with a one most powerfulest attack. As All Might had doubts, like as he quietly tells himself, "Oh, is this the end of being a pro hero?" As a voice at the back of his head saying, "No, this is not the end for you." As a bright or a person comes out of nowhere, and that person's name is Soundwave. As he uses his portal, his green portal, as he like kind of like what Rick and Morty has, but on a whole nother level. As he says, or he disactivates his voice, or the quirk. So he says, "Hey, All for One." I believe that as he throws it back. But let's say there's 4 portals. Oh no. Or 3. So, yeah. So the attack he says, as he walks or runs up to, as he says, "This is my I or actually he knows his attack. He says, or he straight up punched him, but the sound like modified his arm, so when he punched All For One right out of existence. Boom! As he does like what Jiro does, plays with his little like earphones things. Yeah. And he says, "That's how we do things." As, yeah. And plus, they could not believe that this kid that was a student in Class 1A just beats All For One and saved All Might from the getting killed by, yeah. So, yeah. So that's why, and plus it's when their parents saw what he did, and they are so proud of their son and their daughter for being the pro heroes. As he got praised by everybody. As, yeah, during the camp park before, he, or actually Tenya told him or that thank you and for saving my brother's life during the sports festival. As he says, "Hey, the no sweat, Tenya. The because I know that who's more important, than being in having a brother or getting revenge." I always tell myself that. But instead of saying brother, you always think who's more important in my life. So, yeah. So, that's what's about it. Just keep that in mind when being a pro hero. People like us, we don't, we should, yeah. As Jiro was hearing this, as she couldn't believe that her own brother actually saved one of the pro heroes from dying. As he says, if I didn't have, or if something bad happened to my sister, You know? I would have had to who be the only vengeful person. I wouldn't been able to talk to any of you if okay. So let's so how's your brother, by the way? As he changes the subject before he got too mad. Well, he's in the hospital, but he's good because he's only has a couple scrapes, but other than that, he still survives. Yeah. So then, now, since after the All for One, I should have just said All for One versus Soundwave because, yeah. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, Jiro Ro tells him that the you really do like me, don't you? As he says, huh, yeah, you're my sister, so I really care about you. Okay? That doesn't mean that the aim that being, you know, as she understands that he's just watching out for her and her or everybody's friends. As yeah, as all my as that was three people that he saved without yeah, during as he as Jiro was like hmm, she was thinking to overthink things like as he says, I see smoking or smoke come out of your ears, little sister. As she throws a tantrum at him, uh, as he's just like trying not to like overbounds, as he basically as she's like throwing like a tantrum of yeah, as she like literally told him that he was the worst brother that she ever had and like all that other stuff as he takes it on like as Dead Arms says, hey, we have a, or actually let's say they weren't on a mission at the time, as Dead Arms says, hey, I'm back over here, as a he says, let her go, she needs to cool off, as he was in that like he understands. You know, like how anime characters they usually have their eyes down with that black part over their eyes. she is your sister. Yeah, she she knows that how much she's enraged by herself. As yeah, as he had his quirk turned off before. So he walks with them as Jiro was sitting on a bench thinking about what she just said to her brother. As she thought about it, as he didn't really, he did it as a joke, so, or a little saying. So please wait for part 2.